Hey beautiful people, this is Ian again. I'm sorry for being so away. I am currently in Austria. I took a break for about 3 weeks. It was a really busy week. I feel like I needed that. But I'm finally back. I'm back with a really fun episode with Louis. We met over Instagram. We're in the same industry. He's a close friend of mine. In this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about the filmmaking industry, how it gets started, how do you balance it with your work and your life and transitioning into a business, and a little bit about family as well. So I hope you guys really enjoy this. But now there's space on your side.
Yeah. Wait. Can I move a little bit back this? That's too much. This and you move in. That's good.
That's exactly
That's
perfect.
Good. That looks good. Yeah. Good.
Thank you so much for doing this. Finally meeting in person.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yes.
My brother from a different mother.
brother from another mother.
Everyone's been saying we look alike as well. And I've been hearing from Lynn. Louis reminds me so much of you.
Yeah. I found it hilarious because the other day, I don't know whether you posted it or it was already on his stories, but I can't remember. It was like you from behind on the camera.
Oh, I posted it,
Yeah, you posted it, right?
Yeah.
And I took I took a screenshot of it, and then I screenshot, I cropped it, and then I sent it to my wife, and I said like, should I post this just for behind the scenes? And she said, oh yeah, you should. And then later on she said, you look like 40 on this one, but it's fine. And I said like, that is Lynn's brother. That is not me.
And when I came in, she just kept looking at us. Like the shoulder with the height.
Yeah.
We kind of have similar face.
Features, I guess. Yeah. I mean, as any, I guess, bigger built Asian is, but yeah.
We're rare.
True.
Big Asians are rare.
Yeah.
I actually had a guy said to me, "You're pretty big for the Asian guy."
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, big build. So it's not like that you're tall and slender.
Yeah.
They exist.
Yeah.
But we're like big as in like we're relatively tall and we're like
like
wide. We're wide.
Ma Dong Suk's body. Don Lee.
Yeah, Don Lee.
You don't get that. One.
Yeah. We're built like what's it called? Islanders. Because I came across people from Indonesia. They're like, "Are you Indonesian?" But like I'm a bit too pale, so sometimes they're like they don't know. Yeah. But apparently like islanders. Like
I keep getting mistaken for being Hong Kong.
Hong Kong?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
Only at the airports though.
yeah, at the Hong Kong airport or where?
No, in
Malaysia.
any airport.
Any airport.
Yeah.
I either get mistaken for a Korean.
I can see that.
Yeah, a Korean.
It's the eyes.
Usually, yeah. So, but yeah, it's funny. It's funny every now and then. But yeah, it's always the same. It's like we're like, yeah, you're quite big for an Asian. I'm like, I know, not by choice.
I'll embrace it.
Yeah. Just born that way.
It's annoying because when you go back, people are like, "Oh, you put on weight." I'm like, "Oh, you don't have to tell me." But here they don't say it.
Yeah, they don't care.
They appreciate the size.
Yeah, they don't care.
There's more to love.
The thing is, like, if we're comparing ourselves to like Europeans and stuff, it's not that bad because there are way bigger Europeans.
Or taller.
Yeah, or taller.
Yeah,
exactly. So it's not, we're not like outstanding in terms of that. Yeah, it's just that when they see when he's what's it called, like like when you come across certain Pokemons and they're like. There was like one, if you remember, or if you play it at all, you have like shiny. No, you have like shiny Pokemons. Like so, it's like a variation of a very specific Pokemon.
So we're shiny.
Yeah, like we're
shiny.
Yeah. We're like the special, like the rare type of that specific.
I want to say thank you so much for doing this because this is so random.
Yeah. It's
and
fun.
I never really asked you beforehand, but I already had you on my list. I have a list.
You wrote me down.
Oh, I have a list. I have a list of like 30 people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're on the list there.
Okay.
And I'm like checking everyone off bit by bit. But for people who don't know you, this is Louis. We actually met online. He slid into my DMs. No, he's actually a friend of my sister's, and we had a lot in common. And this is actually our first time meeting in person as well.
Yeah.
So for people who don't know you, how would you describe yourself?
34-year-old Asian in Ireland, father of 2, husband of 1.
Husband of 1. Never heard anyone say that. I'll use that.
I use it on my website bio.
Husband of 1
for humor, obviously, for humor. But yeah, it's
It's good.
It's funny, right? It's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
Cause
I rate it.
Yeah, because people always say like, father of two, and then they never mention like how many wives. It's like no, it's just yeah. So it's how would I describe myself? I guess that's it. That's it. I'm a full time like photographer and filmmaker at this point. So yeah, I guess that's really it.
How long have you been full time for?
So I quit my corporate job in just post Big C. So 2009. No, 2021. I would say 2021.
Okay.
Yeah, full time as in like full time living off it.
Yeah.
Full time. Yeah. So it's 2021. Yeah.
So you've been doing this. You've been doing this, like, photography and filmmaking for almost 3 years now.
Well, full time, yes. So during my time at Apple, I was in a production team inside of Apple. I'd done that for a few years. I learned a lot of things. I had a line producer, camera assistant, AD, cinematographers. I met a lot of people within the company, and I learned a lot. And also there was a big push to also do as good as the Cupertino and the Singapore team that shoot like the ads. Internally, obviously, we were shooting a lot more of like the corporate stuff, interview setup, and all that kind of stuff. So that was my introduction to it. But we were also always pushed by our producer to do something outside of our time. So I would say overall, closer to like 6 year professionally. Yeah, but like by myself, a good 3 years, a full 3 years.
That's a very interesting start, actually, because I know a lot of people who obviously very different. You had that exposure in the job, and I think that kind of elevated you as well.
Yeah.
How important do you think that sort of experience is prior to actually going full time on your own?
I think, like, even before I done that, I already took like photos and was into photography and video.
Yeah. Which one did you start with first?
I started as a photographer first.
Okay.
I was a photographer. I think my first camera was like I think like what they call it, 1000D.
The Canon one?
The Canon one.
Everyone started with a Canon.
Okay. Yeah, I started with a Canon.
There's no mic port on that one.
No, nothing. It was bare bones.
Yeah.
It had shitty battery life. It was just it was good for what I was doing. I was literally just using it to take photos of coffee shops and coffee. You know, like before I drink the coffee, I take a quick photo of it. So that was the whole start of it. Because during that time when I started, the whole hype of like Asia and Indonesia and a lot of like Asian places, Japan and stuff, there was like a third wave coffee going on.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of hype about like going to coffee shops and taking like the best photography of coffee at the window, you know, like placing it and that kind of stuff. So that was my introduction into, you know, just like simple photography. I was not really like I had no direction during that time. So that was kind of nice to start. Yeah. And then
You obviously have a full circle moment now because you're getting paid to do that.
yeah, yes, I did. So my first client probably like 8 years ago. I didn't even take payment for it. So his guy's Tony. He's from like West Cork. West Cork. Actually, his brand is called West Cork Coffee. And he saw my photography, and he was just like, he just slid into my DMs and just wrote me like, would you be interested in taking some photos for my online shop and for coffee and lifestyle and stuff? And on the first shoot, my back then girlfriend, now wife, was with me, and I just done it for like a couple of bags of coffee because I'm really into coffee as well.
Yeah.
So he is like he basically kind of grows coffee and then sells it online and stuff. And I was really into it back then. And then now, and I can still, to this day, I have clients that he sent on that now are returning clients of mine to this day.
Yeah.
So it's been crazy. It's like a full circle moment, you know, like starting from there and then now being where I am. It's pretty wild. Yeah.
How long ago was that?
That was 8 years ago. So like that was even before I was in that team at Apple that does video. So
that was when you had the 1000D.
Yeah, that was 1000D. Eventually, upgraded. I upgraded to Fuji.
Oh!
To this day, to put it out there, I am a massive Fuji film fan.
Yeah.
So if I would not do this as a profession, I think I would just have a Fuji system in my bag.
Do you not have like a travel camera? Most people do.
I used to.
Yeah.
I sold it.
What was it?
It was the X105.
V?
The V, yeah,
Okay.
V or 5, yeah. So I bought it. I had it for a while. I just didn't utilize it to the max. But I always loved Fuji colors. Like to this day,
Yeah.
every time I see GFX people posting GFX or any sort of like Fuji camera or any of their internal color, I'm always like, man, such lovely colors, just lush colors. Even if you just shoot JPEG, really amazing. So I would like if I not shoot, if I don't work, I would just carry a Fuji with me. Yeah, all day. Yeah, if I wouldn't work, but yeah.
No,
since I do.
the question is when you travel with the family now, do you have a camera on you?
Yes, but then I never take it out. It's
too
so
big.
annoying. It's too big. Like the camera that we're shooting on right now, the A7S3, it's including the tilter cage. It's about 2.5 to 3.5 kilos. Yeah. So it's really heavy.
With the lens as well?
With the lens as well, yeah.
Yeah,
Depending
too
what
much.
lens.
That's too much.
It's too much. It's really heavy, and it's like a clunk of metal in the backpack. So like you also have to worry about like not hitting it, not falling it, and the worst is like you're always worried if someone does steal your bag. If they steal the diapers and all that kind of stuff, you're fine, you know, if they steal your clothes. But if they steal your camera, like your $5,000 camera, it's a very different story. So I have it with me. I'm always thinking about it. But unless I tell my wife I want to go to this place today and I need to take photos, like I really want to have photos of this area or whatever. Especially when you go to like Japan, that kind of
course,
place.
yeah.
You want to take pictures, you know.
Yeah.
But every now and then I'm just like, it's like I'm so out of energy. I have like 2 kids that I run after. Well, one kid I run after, the other one I have to like hold. So it's really difficult every now and then to just get it out and shoot.
Why not get a smaller camera then?
I do want to.
A7C.
I don't know.
to,
I don't like. I had the A7C, but I didn't like the form factor. Something about viewfinders kind of started annoying me, and I do not know why.
You don't like viewfinders?
No, because it's off center, and it's something I keep not being able to get used to it.
Okay.
So even if I had a smaller camera, it would have to be either a center one or just one that I just look at a display. Like I should stop using the viewfinder, but I do enjoy it when I'm shooting to look through it. So it is kind of a problem, I guess.
I've been on this phase lately because I love having the camera on me. Or like because my camera is so limiting.
Yeah.
I have a lot of extra stuff.
Yeah.
Like for example, the extra battery there at the back.
Yeah.
And the monitor helps me a lot.
Yeah.
Because the brightness. I don't know if you know, like the older Sony cameras, when you're shooting 4K, they lower the brightness. It's so annoying.
Really?
Yeah.
So the A line or which one?
The
A6000s?
initial like I think the A7 II as well at the start.
really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So A7 II, A6500, they lower the brightness when you're shooting 4K.
But how mechanically or digitally? What happened there?
Not your video. It's not affecting your video. It's just the monitor brightness.
So when you see the monitor in the back, it's darker.
Yeah.
But the output is still the same. So when you
yeah.
oh my god, that must
So
be so annoying.
there's so many things like that, right? And it's just because over time using that camera, I realized that I've been pushing it more. I need more of this, need more of that, and that's kind of like we have our own like private conversations, and that's one of the reasons why I want the FX30. It's just easy aligns with everything I want because the resolution on the monitor isn't the best.
Yeah.
But that's why I have the extended monitor.
Yeah.
I have a 5-inch, but the reason why I bought the 7-inch is literally because it's bigger.
I want to see everything.
Yeah, I love because at the start I used to shoot 1080. You didn't know, I came from Canon and I thought 1080 is enough. And when I had 4K, I'm like, oh shit, I could screenshot this and this is images as well. Yeah, that's so crazy. Yeah. But then now the 4K 60 is another thing. I would love for that to be an option.
Yeah.
Brightness
Is are you shooting 4K 60 because you want the 4K
Slow-mo.
60 look? Yeah, the slow mo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
So
so you
sometimes
basically
B-roll.
50%, and then.
But I don't have that.
Okay.
I don't have that.
Okay.
So right now I just digitally use. I don't know if the mic.
We're
picks that up.
also in a red to
Extension.
orange warning in Cork right now.
It's
So
not very bad actually.
It's actually not as bad. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
The worst was overnight, so we're actually fine today.
But I kind of segued it. The main point was, it's just difficult when you think about everything, right?
yeah.
So that's why I love traveling with my digicam. Mm-hmm. It makes me more creative in terms of it doesn't shoot manual. It's only JPEG. It's 12 megapixels. But I've taken some of my favorite photographs on it, which is so weird.
I know what you mean.
It's in my pocket. I pull it out.
I
That's all.
think it's for me. I don't know what it is. It's whether I enjoy the process of being able to edit it or manipulate it. And with a digicam, there is just no choice. It's taken away from you, so you kind of more it's like in the moment shot, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I understand why you like it so much, because if like every now and then I do take a disposable camera with me, or even my Instax camera, like the small, the rectangular square ones. Yeah. So I do enjoy shooting those. And actually, the picture I have in my, not this wallet, but my other wallet of my wife is taken on that camera,
The film camera.
on the Instax. And I get it, like I shoot on it and it's done. It's printed, it's physical, and it's done. There is no tweaking, there is no changing. It was that moment in time kind of thing. So I understand why you like that part of it.
Sometimes I use it for video as well, which is so wild.
Oh, really?
I'll show it to you in a bit.
Okay.
But
I gotta go see that. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
it surprises me more so because I know that it looks cool. Then when I say it, I tell somebody, it's actually from this camera. They're
Yeah.
like, wait, what? How? Right. It's crazy, but and that kind of changed my perspective on the equipment thing.
Yeah.
I kind of got lost in that for a while, and the rabbit hole, and
What made you go? I mean, what was so intriguing about that specific rabbit hole? Because I think I was there for a very, very short time, because I was in a good position while I was still in my corporate job to buy a really good camera out the pocket. Like I was just able to just get the camera that everybody has, which is like the A7S3. And once you have that camera, the capability is like the create like films like the creator shot on basically FX6, which is exactly the same sensor that is now in this camera, and you kind of just go, well, now you have it.
what's next?
What's next? Yeah, you have.
I think
top tier. There has been no crazy change of technology. I'm talking like sensor technology on how good things get, and it's just now down to what and how we utilize it in terms of creative input. So it's not about what you film it on, but what you film. And I think that changed my perspective very quickly, because when I was in that team of the production, there were so many people, and the last thing they would ask about is about what camera you shoot it on, and the first thing was like, what was the first question was like, what was the concept? What was it for? So that was the first question. They wouldn't ask about like, oh, what camera do you shoot this on, bro? Like they never were interested in the gear. They were interested in the why and how did you shoot, that kind of thing. So I got out that rabbit hole quite quickly, instead of thinking like, oh yeah, I should upgrade this, upgrade that, I should get that gear. But especially now in this, in especially this year, since I also bought an FX6, like the gear, I know 6-7 more people that have an FX6, and it's literally not your gear, especially even when you are trying to get other jobs. It's about your creative proposal, to your clients. Can you give them something creative that aligns with their brands, and also like if it aligns with their vision of what they want for their business, or how to portray their business. So it's more of a creative input.
That's why I feel like there's a balance. The reason why I bought a matte box is just for optics. I don't know if we had this conversation before. I told my friends
not
as
for the
well.
flares.
People know that. People know
Yeah.
that. Should I turn up the brightness a bit?
Huh? The brightness no, it's fine.
Yeah?
It seems no, it's fine.
Okay,
It seems to look okay. Yeah.
Because I felt like it got darker.
Okay, a little bit. Like I guess you can change it, but like it won't make a massive difference. Since
Should be fine, right?
Yeah, it seems to be
just-
okay.
I'll just leave it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told one of my boys to get like a matte box.
Yeah.
Bought a matte box, bought a V-mount battery,
Yeah.
rigged up the whole S7 IV, started getting more compliments.
Okay.
You know, before he would do like car shoots and he would just hold the camera. Mm-hmm. And when you're new to the client,
Yeah.
it doesn't look nice.
It's perception.
Yeah,
It's perception.
but after a while, you can literally, if you're a trusted trusted partner with them already, you can literally show off anything and they trust you.
Yeah.
It's weird, but I
Yeah.
think I want to pull back to the easiness of like shooting with like certain equipment because I think we're in a good time period where vintage and modern is kind of intersecting.
Yeah. There are even creators out there that get hired specifically for the digi and like new look. So like they're able to shoot on an ARRI, but also at the same time use cameras from like the 80s, I think. So where they replace the back of it, and then put what they call like put a recorder on it, and it's like the digital look, you know, like the 80s, 90s like digital look. That is coming back, and I seen a lot of big brands actually utilizing that type of look. Gives the frame something different. It's the same of people shooting with a low shutter speed, like Wonka Wai, you know, that kind of like really, it's being utilized, and I think it's one of those things where like the zeitgeist kind of comes back with trends, and people want to see something different. Like the retro and the vintage is like merging because of that generation, because we have access to everything that was before us as well, you know, and people and there are niche people that are into it that are also able to fix those things. Yeah, back in the 90s, nobody would think about fixing those things. Instead, they would just use whatever is the latest. But now we're at a time where all the technology has stagnated, and we're now where we want a different look, but everybody is able to shoot a clean image. But are you now able to get an image with character, which seems to be more important than just cleanness, because clean is very sterile in terms of
Because I realized that over the last year, I've been buying a lot of extra stuff, but I don't necessarily use them. So it's become I thought I might need it. So a few months ago, I got to play around with like an A7S III and shoot with it, and I kind of got a little bit swayed to like, you know what? Why if I just change the full frame? Just change everything. And then I realized that I remember why the intention of me wanting the FX30 was.
What was it?
Just the ease of it. Just literally, it solved the problems that I needed already.
Okay.
I never looked at it as, yeah, but it doesn't have this and I want this one. But I never needed that. So why am I thinking about that now?
Okay.
The one thing was just the fan.
The what?
The one shoot I did was 10 days, and first of all, my camera overheated. I lost like 2 minutes of video at the end of an interview, which is fine because we ended it.
Yeah.
What else was it? The fan was a big thing. The recording limit.
Oh yeah. The recording limit.
So I had timer.
Yeah. The Canons had that, especially the Canons. Yeah.
You could put a hack to remove the recording limit, so that's fine. I didn't know about that then.
Yeah.
And one more thing I think was just battery life. I completely hated the fact that my battery. So I had to rig it out.
Yeah.
It was really heavy.
Okay. Yeah. I remember.
Literally, that's all.
Okay.
So I would love to have the FX30 just traveling around with me.
I guess so. Yeah.
That's all.
I specifically bought the A7S III because of the low light capability. Because certain gigs that I shoot, sometimes it's like covers events and stuff, I need the low light capability. So, you know, it's so you're shooting at like 12,800 ISO, which is the second base ISO, the second base ISO level, and it's a really really clean image. But if you still do it in daylight, you sometimes have to like go f5, which is fine, you know. It's
Don't you use an ND?
but it's been able. Well, you don't really need an ND if you shoot that low light.
Yeah.
You don't need an ND.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because you might shoot in like f4, f5 every now and then. So there's not much point, because depth of field is also one of those things. Bokeh. It's like one of those things like that only you care about. Pixel people care about, but your client does not.
Yeah.
They don't care about how much depth of field FS, unless you're shooting some sort of movie which they're not paying for. So they don't care. They just want to have I feel like audio is number one, a well exposed image is number two, and then everything else is creativity, and then somewhere at the bottom, somewhere you can talk about depth of field. Yeah. But
Really?
I don't feel it's that important. No, because when you have the second base ISO, you're able then to shoot in like really dark cafes and restaurants, fine dining areas, and still capture it the way it kind of supposed to look.
Yeah.
Versus, because the thing is like when you have a moving image, when you're shooting video and it's on whether it's on a steady rig or when you have it on a Ronin, a gimbal or something, and when you're moving, you don't want to shoot at 1.2 because only this much of the image is sharp. It's
a big
just
risk.
it's a big risk, yeah. Because like then you're gunning with your camera, you try to keep your eye on the thingy, and it's always like in and out of focus, especially when you're not able to also manually control the focus.
Yeah.
So I sometimes, if it's a plate of food or something or dishes, etc., I like to shoot in f4, f5. Then at least I know this much of the plate will be in focus when I shoot. So yeah, it's not too important. It used to be, like I'll try to go for the 1.8, 1.4 lenses, etc. And I'm actually in the process of selling my f1.4 G lens, Sony G lens,
What focal length?
50.
Okay.
So it's a nifty 50. I used to like my favorite used to be like a 50 mil, and I thought, oh yeah, I bought the best lens, but now it's just a lens that is in my bag and never used.
Yep.
Literally never ever used.
One of my favorites were actually the 35,
35.
but
Yeah.
now it's literally just the 2470. You just use it for everything.
Yeah, everything. Yeah,
It's just easy.
Yeah, same. It basically like lives on my FX6 when I use it. It's just ease of use.
It's hard, and then it's hard to beat Sony's autofocus as well.
Yeah, definitely. So it's a lot of elements. I feel like that just gets you to not think about the gear so much than the utility of the gear. Yeah. I think over time.
With that being said, right, like obviously you have to have some sort of passion to do this full time as well. Yeah? You have to love it.
Yeah.
It's not easy, right?
It's not easy, no.
Now, when you're doing it for fun or some kind of passion project,
Yeah.
do you see that as work?
If I do passion project, so if I work on a passion project or if I do test shots and stuff, it's more building a portfolio that I want my future work to be like. So people don't understand how important it is to have a portfolio that matches your own creative style. Because if I would say, let's say someone shoots products all his life or for at least 10 years of his career, he made good money with it, it's really stable. I feel like as a creative, you get drained or almost tired of doing that specific work. And when you are creating a test shot or these passion projects, you are creating something that you want to do in the future that is supposed to be paid. I think that's how you should think about it. For instance, recently there was a relatively big company that had that made a small sister company. They wanted to have a video, and they came up with me like, it's a relatively new brand. We don't know where it's going. There is not much budget. Can you work with this? And my first instinct was like, I really like that brand. Like I really stand behind it. Like it's for children. It's children's food. It's because I have children myself. It's well made. It's healthy ingredients. It's low sugar.
Yeah.
And it really aligned with oh, I really enjoy this. I
Yeah,
really like
yeah.
this. And I think it can bring a lot of emotion into it, because a lot of the stuff that I shot is like very like corporate. So there's
Yeah, yeah.
less emotion and less, something that I really enjoyed shooting. That rang a bell in me. And I was like, wait a minute, I really like this.
Mm-hmm.
I think even if I do it at low budget, I'm not losing out here. Like it's still, like a bit of money,
Yeah.
not crazy, but I'm not losing out. Like not losing out on the day. I'm still able to shoot it in 4 hours,
Mm-hmm.
go home, edit it, and have good results. So I've done certain projects where it's low paid, but it's really down the line. I want to go in terms of like, this is also the type of work I want to do,
Yeah.
and you do it for less, but also then you have a portfolio piece that is really really strong. And I think that is more important. Some people don't think about that way. And since I have been doing a lot more test shots and these type of things, I feel like showcasing that, or at least being able to then approach other brands. You're like, hi, I'm this and this guy. Here's a proposal of a shoot that we could potentially do if you would be interested, and you have something in your hand that you can show.
Yeah.
And also, there's less. I feel like there's less pressure on you when you do it as a test shoot, and you just can nail things. Get it really, you dial it down to exactly the vision you want. You can collaborate with people, so it's not just you, but you bring on a makeup artist. Like anyone who kind of adds value to your work. And then at the end, you have a result that is way more polished or much better than just you working on one project kind of thing. So it's great. It's a great way of creating work
Yeah.
that is hopefully talking to the future of the work that you want to do.
Yeah.
That you want to be paid for. So yeah.
That's a really good answer. Really good answer. Yeah.
Thank you.
But I can tell that there's a lot of thought into that. Then that means that I think every passion project that you are doing has the intent for something important down the line as well.
Yeah.
Something that you kind of want to
Yeah.
get into. Would you be able to talk about something that you kind of want to try and have not done before?
Kind of want to try. Never done before.
Something foreign to you?
I want to. So I'm slowly now building my way into more a documentary style work, and also documentary style portfolio. I have actually a couple of them which I cannot release yet, but this is the type of things I want to do more. Because I think when I started video, it was mostly like doing it for reels and doing like that kind of stuff. But the more I get into it, the more I am interested in people's stories. So I found myself while shooting the paid work for documenting or founder stories of people.
Yeah.
I sit there and I'm actively listening.
Yeah.
And I'm actually engaged with the person I'm interviewing. And then we're creating that part, the interview part, and then I follow that person throughout their day-to-day life, whether it's on a farm, whether they are an artist. You saw them behind them, seeing them work, and being able to watch them and ask questions like, "Oh, why this color?" or "Why you're so into this type of work at the moment," etc.
Yeah.
And documenting this created something like, I don't know, like it woke something up in me where I thought like, I'm really into this. I really want to listen to people's stories, and I feel like that this story should be heard by many, many other people. So, I think I'm going more and more into the documentary side of things at the moment. And storytelling is what was, I think, feels like it's always number one.
Yeah.
Like storytelling is number one, and everything is kind of like number two. So I think documentary is currently my wanting to go into. And I think that's what I'm heading towards as well. Like that's what I like the most. I like listening to stories. I like being in the stories. I like curating and creating and editing the stories as well. Because like once I finished the whole thing, I already in my mind while I'm driving home, I'm like, oh, I can cut this in there. I could insert this. I could have the audio clip from here and use it there. Like there's already things going on, like how to tell that story in the way I want to, So it's great. Yeah.
You kind of reminded me of something that I wanted to say just now, and it's Gareth Edwards, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the reason why they chose like the FX3 was so that they didn't let the equipment. They didn't want it to be equipment heavy. They wanted to let the creativity flow from the limitation. I thought that was a very interesting perspective as well, and let the story drive. I know a lot of people hated the movie, but I loved it. It was great. I love everything about it. The visuals. So baby,
Yeah, it's very true.
the visuals was it was just something else. But it's so funny that you said documentaries because I'm kind of burnt out from it. To be
Really?
honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're doing
Why-
it alone, it's very tiring.
Yeah, documentary is tiring in terms of if you do a one-man team. If you had at least one partner or someone you can hire, it'd be definitely a little bit easier because you got to think about it. You got to be someone that is relatively as capable technically as you, but you have to find someone that is.
Is that rain?
It's rain.
So random.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you also have to find someone that is, so technically capable, but also be able to help you in terms of like gaffer,
Yeah.
So it's either you gaffer and then someone behind the camera, and sometimes like, oh, you have an idea and then they gaffer and you're behind the camera kind of thing. So there's
What's a gaffer?
someone helping. Gaffer is just someone that rigs light or rigs flags. So like, oh, can you put a negative? And they put a negative for you. So you move a C stand.
I always
and then
imagine
you're
them with a
behind-
tape.
Oh no! Like a gaffer is like someone that does the lighting setup.
very cool.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a guy that helps you with lighting
Yeah.
and setting up this set kind of thing. Helps you a lot because you're behind the camera, and then you're like 2 meters away from the person. You're like, could you move the plant on? And when you have to do it yourself, you're running back and forward.
I see.
That's what makes you feel tired.
Yeah.
That's what I talk out experience because there were a lot of jobs. They shouldn't have been the budget they were supposed to be, and I've soloed it. And I come home, and like my central nervous system, like my spine, everything, my body just hurt from it because I was so exhausted from it that it almost felt like resentment in terms of like why did I do this for that amount?
Yeah.
Why did I not just ask for more and then hire someone that would have helped on that day kind of thing? But yeah, that's also like the business side of things.
Learning curve as well.
Being smart about it and try not to take everything on, and make sure if you do take something on that you're also prepared in terms of like physically and mentally to on how much you like the project kind of thing. So
I think it makes it more sustainable as well. You don't burn out.
yeah, definitely. Like I learned the hard way. There's some every now and then I take on projects where I love working with that specific client,
Yeah.
but also because I did not raise my rates for a while or at all with them. There's a bit of like, oh man, it's so much work for.
It's kind of awkward as well.
It's awkward. It's awkward. So you do have to have a conversation eventually with them. Since it's almost New Year's, it's a good time for the listeners out there to go up
your prices.
and up your prices, and don't be that guy that ups it by like 10. Up it by a certain amount, and then you set it for a while. Because
10, what do you mean 10? 10x?
no, not 10x, but like
10.
10%. Don't be that guy. Just 10% it. Like go 20. Go something where it's sustainable. And I always feel like the clients that are able to afford you, they will not blink an eye, especially when they enjoy working with you.
Oh man, that's so true.
Yeah, they will not blink an eye.
The ones
if
that-
they love working with you, if they have worked with you for years, and you say like, "Hi, it's like I had to revise my rates due to the current cost of living," you know, they will understand because they're in the same position. They do business, you do business, and don't go there with 10% because inflation is going to catch up with you, and you don't want to be there. And if you lose a client that are unable to go with you, you know, it's more of a numbers and volumes game. You know, if you do more than enough, but you raised it by a really high amount, and you only have those 5, you raise it so high that you're able to still sustain, but you do less work.
Yeah.
Now you do less work for the same amount of money. You know, it's that kind of thing.
It's scalable,
and you're also and you also then get approached by clients that are around the same level or bigger. You know, that's what you want to always go with more budget, higher budgets
Yeah.
with certain clients where you're able to do less because you want to have a life
Yeah,
outside of your videography or
Exactly.
photography. So it's just a numbers games. And if you do raise your prices, make sure you raise it where you're like, okay, even if there is a little bit more work or less work for you yourself, you're still able to sustain and not feel resentment towards your own prices because you
of
you
course,
don't want
yeah.
to be that guy. Yeah.
I have one last question. I think I want you to have a think about it as well. It's unique to you because maybe you do know people. I personally don't. People who do this full time but have a family. How's that like balancing everything?
Filmmakers or photographers that are also full-time fathers kind of thing.
Yes,
Do I know people
all the boys that I know, they're single.
Let me think. They they don't have children. They don't have children. I'm trying to go through all the agencies that do, or no, agencies are different. They have a different,
Yeah.
they have a different setup. But I know one guy who has a family. Yeah, I know one guy. But the thing is, like, I don't know much about him apart from his work, which is
Yeah.
interesting.
You guys are rare.
Yeah, there's less of it. Now I feel like when you're doing this job, make sure you have a partner that is supportive and extremely understanding. Like I'm lucky enough to have a wife that understands like it is great work and stuff, and she
You tell her a lot. You
believes
tell her all the time.
believes. I tell her all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell her all the time. Like sometimes I come home from work and I hug her and I thank her for. Like, I'm like really thankful for having her, and she's so capable as a mother as well. And having the trust in me being able to perform at the level that I do as well. Yeah, it's nothing. It's nothing that I take for granted. It's 100% something where I think like if my partner was not like the partner I have, I don't even know what's gonna happen, because it takes so much time and energy to finish projects, because you don't want to be like
Essentially, your work never ends.
recording. Yeah, it doesn't. I think in developer terms they call it a sprint. So like while one starts, you have a parallel. So you have pre-production, production, and post. And I have months where I have three projects at the same kind of level. So I have three pre-production, and then I have production lined up, which don't match on the same day, obviously.
Yeah.
But then all the post-production get crumped up around the same time.
Yeah.
While you're taking on pre-production from other clients. So I think like developers use it for, it's called a sprint, where you're sprinting, trying to get one done so you can start the next projects, etc. But it's absolutely insane in terms of like, people don't understand, you're not hiring us only for the shoot and then we are just handing you our SD cards. We have to edit.
Yeah.
And we have to edit. We have to make sure everything is aligned. We have to make sure that the format is correct. So much things go into thinking about the details and stuff before it goes online and stuff.
I think pre-productions.
Pre-productions, yeah. And I feel like
revisions as well.
revisions as well. But I feel like when you spend more time in pre-production, your production and post-production is much easier.
Yes.
Yeah. Especially there is a lot less of the client going like, I didn't like this, or because you can always go back to, well, we planned that.
Yeah.
You had the plan, you approved the brief, that kind of stuff. You can always still cut it out, but like it's.
I had one. It's a while ago now. Yeah. It's 5 revisions. It wasn't paid a lot. Less than 500.
Do you have a cost for?
At the time, no.
No.
And then after speaking to you.
Good. Yeah.
But it was stupid because he asked for less videos. Can you delete these clips, but can you make it longer?
Delete this clip?
Like delete a bunch of clips because he didn't like it.
Okay.
He didn't want it in it.
Okay.
But can you make the video longer?
With what?
That's the thing. But it happens so. I've heard so many stories and stuff like that. It's just so funny.
Yeah.
With
No,
clients
like you
sometimes.
gotta write it down somewhere. Like you want 30-second slip, then they are 30-second slip. Like they can't just be suddenly like, oh, can you add on 30 seconds?
Yeah.
It's like no, you gotta stick to your, like write down what they want, write down, like let them write down the deliverables, you know, and then when they do say something in the post, it's like sometimes we're not magicians, and also it takes so much extra time to revise
magician.
your stuff. Yeah, well you are, but like you know what I mean. Yeah, yeah.
No, I get what you mean.
You don't wanna end up also resenting the client.
No, of course,
You
of
see,
course, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I try to just keep them as happy as possible as well.
Yeah. Like always explain within reason,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean. So like if it's for me, a small job, 20 minutes
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, I'm like, yeah, I can do it. And then hopefully that's gonna solve their problem.
Mm-hmm.
He's good, I'm good. But if he keeps coming back and coming back, I'm like, no, I can't.
He
do
contacted
this.
me a month after I delivered it, and he paid.
Yeah.
Just to ask me, do you think the pictures are kind of dark?
No, no.
I was
I've been there, but yeah,
wild.
I eventually just kind of, certain customers will be customers, but not mine.
Yeah.
Like I just kind of have to say bye to some of them,
Mm-hmm.
or just don't work with them again. Due to those certain reasons, because within reason, I understand.
course.
Everybody
Yeah.
is trying to do their work. I'm trying to do my best work for you, because what are we there for? At the end of the day, it's a service.
Yeah.
It's a service we provide. We want to do our best to provide that service. We want you to succeed.
But don't take
People-
the mic as well.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
We're,
Yeah,
we're working people as well.
yeah.
I have actually a last question,
Yeah, sure.
and the way this works is, it's somebody from the previous asking the question, and then you have.
Oh,
Yeah. So I got this. I actually, Stephen Bartlett actually has something like this, which is kind of cool.
yeah.
But I'm gonna ask you the question the last person asked.
Okay.
And
And then
then you
I
get-
have to give
yes.
the next question. Okay. Oh God.
So the question is, why are you so scared to go after the dreams you've always dreamt of?
Why am I so scared?
Essentially, I feel like you're living it, but
I'm kind of living
Yeah.
I'm living in that nightmare right now. So I don't know who that question is for, but it's definitely not for me.
maybe before, why were you?
Okay, why was I? So
Yeah.
man, during C19, let's call it that, during C19, we I had the fear of, my biggest fear was like failure to succeed in something I haven't done yet. I think that's the best way to put it. I wanted to do it. I thought about doing it. I dreamt about doing it. And there was so much time I spent at home at night, laying in bed, just thinking like, am I going to be in this company forever? Is this it? Am I happy? Questions like that. They creep on you, or like they creep up on you. It doesn't matter whether you're successful or not. They just happen to just be something that is in your mind, consistently nagging and just dragging you down. And yeah, also the imposter syndrome of like, man, like I will never be this guy. I will be never that guy. And I think that was the biggest fear of not starting it earlier. And then going back to my having the partner that I have, that constantly told me like, Ken, like do it now, do it today, post something, record something, and just put it out there, etc., etc., etc. And I think that is kind of also a big piece, because I speak to a lot of like I have camera assistant and people that are kind of new or just out of college. I spoke to them, and they have the same problem that I slowly try to get out of, is the problem of ego. So like you are worried about what people think about you. I think that is the biggest thing that holds back 99% of people of the potential of what they could do in terms of when they want to start as a photographer, as a filmmaker, as a videographer, as an editor. What stops them is just plain and simple their ego. Yeah, they think about too much of how other people perceive them.
Yeah.
And it ruins your it ruins the way you create, because even while you're making something, you're holding it back. You're not going out there. You're not chasing it, because you consistently thinking about others. And the truth of the matter is that nobody really cares.
Yes.
Yeah, nobody really cares. And if you do it for others, your work will never be great. I noticed that as well. Because if I shoot for someone else than myself, I always feel like that people hire me because they like my style. I noticed something like probably a year and a half in. People hired me because they like a certain portfolio piece, that a test shot that I created with my vision. They're not hiring you because you are imitating someone else.
Yeah.
And that's where the ego thing comes in. Like, you are too worried about what people think of you or what you create, and then you start creating for others, which is completely wrong.
Yeah.
You should create the thing that you love the most, create it for yourself, and you need to love your own work. Even if you only love it for right now, because I noticed that as well. If I make something that I love right now, if I edit something the way I like right now,
Yeah.
it's because that is the current me. If I look back at it, I cringe in 6 months' time, it's completely fine, which is a normal way of progression. Because if you cringe at it, it means it's still it's yet to be your best work.
Yeah.
So you are still chasing that future you, that 10 years, that Ian in 10 years, the Lewis in 10 years. And I think that is really important to keep in mind. You are never the perfect version of you. There is no perfect version of you. We are humans, so we are influenced by everything that we encounter, that we see, that we consume, life experiences, all that kind of stuff that filters into our creative freedom. And yeah, I think that kind of answers the question. Like, that what held me back was mostly ego, and thinking way too much about what people thought of me, instead of chasing
Doing
what I
it for
love.
you, yeah.
Do it for yourself.
What would you ask the next person? It got darker, didn't it?
It's 100% darker now. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I think now it's like kind of unexposed.
Should we be concerned? Should be fine.
Huh?
It's
It should be fine. Fine. If they don't watch us, it's gonna be fine. just don't watch us. Just listen to us. You're gonna be fine. Just if you're on the car ride and stuff, What would I ask the next person? Let me think. It's one of those thinking
Skin
ones.
tone.
Skin tone.
We stand out
just,
still.
just 5 times darker than normal. What would I ask the next guest? Give me 1 minute. So I'm trying to think of a good question that I could ask the next question.
Sure. I'm gonna turn up the ISO.
Yeah.
I want to see how it looks.
Yeah. I would never touch base ISO, but you could do it.
It looks fine, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here. I think it's just.
Okay.
Damn. After recording for that long, just only 50% battery. That's so crazy to me.
I know.
That's why I need one of the newer cameras with the big batteries.
Let me think. Okay, what do I want to ask the next person that is also meaningful?
The thing is, I don't know who the next person is gonna be
It's fine.
because I have a few schedules.
Yeah. So my question was like about what scared me the most to chase my dreams. The next person should have a slightly different, well, not slightly different, a different question. But is it creatives that you asked? Like other
Mostly creatives,
film. Okay.
Not necessarily film, but creatives.
Okay,
Yeah.
creatives. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. What is something? Is there something? Has there something happened during your childhood that has shaped the way you are right now, and how does it affect you creatively now?
Is there something that happened in your childhood that
Yeah, that has shaped the way you are now as a creative. There we go.
who you are now as a creative.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because I thought about it very recently. Some people don't know this about me, but like I go to go to therapy with my wife as a counseling kind of thing. Not because we have issues, but like we are healing from
Childhood
like
trauma.
child trauma as
Yeah.
Asian children. Like because I as a parent now myself, there are certain things I still deal with from my childhood. I'm trying to heal myself out of it, kind of thing. It's so there were certain things that happened during my childhood that shaped me to the person I am now. Work ethics, the certain tendency that are not healthy, but I seem to still do because that's how it was. That's how my parents were. Typical Asian parents. So like working till you kind of drop frustration that you cannot let out because you are you're the bread maker kind of thing.
You don't want to. You're trying to.
Tendencies.
What I like to say. Those things are like generational trauma, strongholds.
Yeah, strongholds. Yeah,
The
sounds
terms
good.
that the terms would. So I'm quite Christian, so I would use like we call it like these strongholds would be attached to your parents, and if they don't heal from them, they, they'll be follow onto you, and then you would bring it onto your kids. And sometimes, if somebody offends you, it's not necessarily them, but it could be, you know, they are a stronghold is like something that has power over you,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you don't
yeah,
necessarily realize that, and
yeah,
yeah, it affects the
yeah,
people you interact with.
yeah. Not just even that. It's habits, like things that I thought I would never do or never would portray
Yeah.
with my children, and then every now and then I catch myself doing it, and I'm like, no, this is not what I want, kind of thing, And I noticed that fixing that was literally fixing myself first, fixing myself from what happened to me, so I do not forward this, because obviously I don't want to.
Yeah. See,
For,
not a lot
for,
of
for the
parents
rest,
think like you as well.
huh?
Not a lot of parents think like you.
Yeah, not a lot to do. I'm in a relationship
That is healthy.
that is healthy,
Yeah.
that is all about transparency and talking and out there doing the best, not just for us as a couple,
Yeah.
but also for the whole of us.
One
Yeah,
one thing.
because
Yeah.
I know how bad of an effect it had on me
Yeah.
in hindsight now,
Yeah. You want to prevent the.
exactly. I want to prevent it way before any of that kind of stuff happens. So yeah,
I think one
yeah.
very comforting but also interesting thing my pastor said to me was, we're at his house. It was after lunch, and we're just watching his little one like riding around in a tricycle. And he said he I know his story, and he grew up with quite a bit of like childhood trauma, and he's not very close to his dad. And he said, I can try my best to be the perfect father for this kid, but he will eventually have to grow up and heal from the trauma that I have given him as well. And I think in each and every generation, we just try to do better.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's what it is. Like every of course, like every parent wants to do their best in, that's the thing, like in their certain way. But also understanding that you're not just a parent by just having a child, but you have to parent as in
Exactly.
you gotta be present as one as well. I
No
think
guilt
that,
tripping.
yeah. Well, that's what I mean. It's just like you need to be there as a person, and it doesn't matter how tired or how much you love your work. At the end of the day, your children never chose to be in the world. You chose
Yeah.
to have them.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of parents
Forget
forget that in the moment that they are only chasing
Yeah.
the money or chasing to provide, but your child doesn't care, especially when they're like really young. Like I can sometimes tell from my daughter, I'll be like, if even if I had no money, if I could go with her to a park for like 15 minutes,
Yeah.
she would appreciate it. Sorry. Yeah, even if I could not go to the park with her, like even if I could not buy her the best presents and that kind of stuff, she wouldn't care. But if I could spend 20 minutes at the park, that was a day.
That's what matters to them most. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I think you're doing great.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. There's this a lot of people don't know this, but biblically, even if you're a pastor and you have a church that you take care of, the first ministry is your family.
Yeah. True.
It doesn't matter if you're in charge of your work or whatever.
Yeah.
Your family is number one, and that's what's most important.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's the biggest honor that you have to be a father or be a parent. Because the responsibility of that is just
It's heavy.
yeah,
It's very heavy. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Because, yeah, just doing, I guess, honoring, also like honoring your parents is mostly doing in any sort of way, doing better than them for the next generation. I think that is more than they could ever ask for, kind of thing. So like even if you were not the best son, kind of thing, there is still as long you are doing good as you as a parent, doing a little bit better in any sort of way. It doesn't have to be financial, but like spending a little bit of time. And I think that's the most valuable thing that we have. It's time. It's time. Yeah. So yeah, it's important to remember that. I think also with the whole filmmaking thing, to remember I'm doing this
for them.
not just because that's what I love,
Yeah.
but I'm doing this so I can provide for the people that I love, that I can have more time with the people that I love. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's really important. I know, like especially filmmakers, they are the bunch that spend way too much time working a lot of times, and I think that's the biggest issue. It's like these every now and like certain projects take it out of you. You just have to be there longer. But yeah, you gotta also remember that outside of a filmmaker, you're still a father, you're still a husband, you're still a son to someone. You gotta remember that you are still a human with a life outside of your career. Yeah.
that's beautiful, dude. I think we can wrap it.
Wrap it here. Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. We're gonna almost have dinner, I think.
Perfect timing because we didn't have to be inside. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you, man.
I didn't expect the ending to be quite emotional.
Me neither.
But yeah, I think you're doing great. Yeah, just from seeing that, and I admire your relationship with the wife as well.
Oh yeah.
It's sweet.
Yeah, it's great. It's great having her.
No, we'd say you are blessed.
Oh yeah, 100%.